Cause your vibe it be different. Can shine in your eyes what I'm missing. Your body Ferrari, but your mind is my interest. You finding your find in the sky, we gon' ride the ecliptic like a Mercury transit. Peace, y'all. Today with Astrology, and I'm here to give you your daily astrology guidance for June 14th, 2022. Full moon vibes, baby. Let's get straight into it. Cause your vibe it be different. Can shine in your eyes when I'm missing. Oh, my fault. Press the wrong button. All right, y'all. So as you know, we had the full moon today. It hit exact at 7 a.m. on the East Coast. So, for those that don't know exactly when there is a full moon, it is when the sun, which is at 24 degrees Gemini right here. Directly opposes the moon, or the moon directly opposes the sun. Okay, so the moon was actually over here at 24 degrees Sag. Okay, at 7 this morning. The moon moves pretty fast. Every 2 days, pretty much, roughly, it goes into a new sign. Okay, so last night was the beginning of the full moon. We're still gonna have this full moon energy throughout today. So that is actually how we know when the full moon is exact. So if people are like, "Oh, it looks like a full moon," is the full moon today? Well, you can look at an astrology chart, or you could just Google it, but they'll tell you the time. But if you want to learn how to look at these charts, if the moon is exactly at 24 degrees opposing, or the exact degree opposing the sun, then it is an actual full moon. Okay? And then for the new moon, all right, I'm just going to erase it. Oop. Just going to erase it. And then for the new moon, right, if you know how these things work in the sky, it's when, because this is the Earth, right? So the way we have a new moon is the moon blocks the sun. Okay? So that's how that works. And we're going to keep it yellow. So, all right, y'all. So, as you know, or if you don't know, when there's a full moon, emotions are heightened. And for me, I've been seeing a lot of that happening around the people around me, and, just people getting very emotionally attached to beliefs because the moon was at 24 degrees Sag. And Sag rules belief systems, okay? It also rules travel and, going on these journeys and things like this. But this is actually where we see people who might get overly attached to their emotions. Now, this is also bringing the eclipse energy to a closure here, okay? So that's a good thing, right? The last eclipse was in Scorpio. So that's good, right? That's kind of what we want here. Give us some fresh, new Gemini Sag energy for us to be curious, for us to figure things out in our life, get things organized, get our thoughts in order so that we can actually go on these journeys that we want to and fulfill ourselves. Okay? So we do have, which I've talked about yesterday, this exact conjunction of Mars and Chiron in Aries. Okay, so this is where the healing process really can get sped up for the ones who have been doing the internal work, the shadow work that is necessary to be done. Okay. If not, then this is where ego can get blown out of proportion as well. For the unconscious ones, for the ones who aren't fully awake, for the ones who think they're awake and aren't fully, this is where ego gets brought out heavily. But I think it just depends more so on the individual when it comes to this, because it can go two ways. Chiron's going to want to try to heal Mars. Mars is more powerful, obviously, which can overpower the healing process. So it's all about, are we being real with ourselves, right? Are we being real with our blocks? Are we being real with what we identify with at this point in our life? So that's a big deal, right? And it's making this time a little bit, it can be easy breezy for those of us who know ourselves very well and are comfortable with and have a relationship with our ego and our dark side. And that's the key. A lot of us go through life and we don't necessarily confront our ego and have a hard time even confronting our soul. The soul can be kind of a scary thing, because there's a part of us that understand, when we look in the mirror, that we're looking at our vessel. But when we look through our eyes and we feel our soul, it's like you feel your soul. You don't see your soul, you feel your soul. And then it's almost like you start to know that your soul is eternal. And it's a scary thing, because you're like, oh man, well, what happens when you die then? It's like I'm going to experience something that's going to take me out of my body and onto the next existence. So that's a kind of scary existential place to be. But we've all been there, and there's and when it comes to this spiritual community, we all need to be here for each other. That's why love and support is the biggest thing. Obviously we have to be real with each other and not fake with each other, because I think that there's a lot of that goes on in the spiritual community, and people think that they can just be bubbly all the time, when shadow work is a necessary thing of all living things. So we do have this semi-square with Jupiter and Venus. Okay, so we definitely are looking at, and look at what's in the middle of this. Our ego healing is in the middle of Jupiter trying to basically bless us with what? Some type of finance, some type of awesome love situation. So this is where blocks can really get in the way, right, of us achieving or us receiving the value that we really want to receive, right? Because Jupiter is here to give it to us, but Mars is the most powerful thing in Aries right now. So that means that if we haven't already done the healing of Chiron, are we going to be able to receive this value that's in Taurus? Because Venus rules Taurus. So Venus is lighting up Taurus, lighting up the North Node, right? About to completely conjunct the North Node. This is where, love stories can really happen. But again, we need to be very real with ourselves about what we want and not run away from those things, okay? We do have Mercury making this semi-square. Okay, so Mercury is also making a semi-square. Okay, to Chiron. So again, this whole healing process is heavy on our mind right now. It's heavy. This is where we need to be getting all of these things in order when it comes to what we're identifying with. How are we allowing ourselves to heal through the things that we want? So and this this Mars is definitely powered up. It's actually making a square with Regulus here. Okay. I mean a Ceci square. I'm sorry, Ceci square. And really, I feel like that's a harsh aspect, but Regulus is in Virgo, but this is where we can really empower ourselves to organize these issues that we're having and really work through them. Okay? Yeah. So really we won't get too into deeper and more advanced astrology too much, but the sun is making this trine because now it's going to make this trine today and tomorrow with Saturn. Okay, so boom, boom. No, it's ugly. Boom. Okay. So, this is really, really a good time. Even though Saturn is retrograde, this is still a good time to make sure that we are getting our goals in order. We're getting our work in order. We're getting these things that we want with career to move forward and at least taking these baby steps, right? Because with Saturn retrograde, okay, yeah, it might not be leaps and bounds, right? With Saturn not being online, but it's making this aspect to the sun in Gemini that wants to figure all of these things out, and Saturn is in Aquarius. So this is where we can really align with experimenting and figuring out our avenue today. And that is really the main goal of today, I would say. We do have the part of fortune in Leo, so self-love is what's going to really get us through. How much do you love what you do? How much do you love your place in this world, your life? If you're not loving life right now, it's because you haven't moved yourself out of your comfort zones and into the places where you can create the things that are going to bring you more value into your life. You haven't detached, right? Detached with this Saturn in Aquarius here. It's asking us to detach from the things that are holding us back. Okay? And pretty soon we're going to have the sun make this aspect with Pluto when it hits 28. So, we definitely have to make sure that we're getting everything in order to bring this happiness in, because Pluto's going to come and do it again. Pluto's going to do what it always does. Okay? When you're not ready for it and everything starts to tap into Pluto, that's when you see the Tower card happen. Okay? So it's all about preparing for this. It's all about making sure that we're doing what is necessary to accentuate our value and to make sure that we are healing our egos. Ego work, shadow work is a big deal right now. Okay? Other than that, we need to just really stay focused. Okay? Neptune is making this square with the sun. And it'll keep making the square with the sun when it hits 24, when it hits 25. Okay, so boom. Look at this. Look at this. So, we have to make sure that we're being direct about what we want. So, taking the time to figure out the details and taking the time to be searching, to go into places we haven't gone into, is what is going to be give us those epiphanies and help us understand where our place is and what we're trying to build. If we already know these things, then let's say we already know what we're supposed to be doing, right? Let's say we already have picked. Let's say we're already living it. Let's say we're already boom. Okay. So, but guess what? This is the time where you need to focus on the details to level up. This is the time where you have to look at the details that can get you caught up later on down the road. Okay? That's what this chart here is asking us to do today is, okay, emotionally, right? Because full moon is looking at, okay, well, it's opposing the sun in Gemini. It's in Sag. Well, am I going to get caught up in my beliefs that everything's going to be okay? I don't have to worry about nothing. Everything has gone very well for me. Everything's been working out. I've been making money. I've been doing what I love. But that's where the sun in Gemini is asking us to, hey, get the details in order. Get it all in order. Do the more tedious work. Do the more tedious work, and it'll pay off in the end, and we will end up being a lot happier in the long run. Okay? So, let's see what these cards have to say for today. All right. Do this on a table. That way I don't mess it up. If I do it on my leg, I always mess it up. It never shuffles right. If I do it on a table, it just comes out wonderful. Okay? And I don't do that. As I say it, I messed it up. Okay. I'm going to shuffle it one more time because it be kind of blowing my mind when we get the same cards and I shuffle it so much. Cut it. All right, y'all. So, we have the Nine of Swords reversed. So I think this is a good time for us to be getting out of this depressive state, getting out of our anxieties that we've been having about moving forward. Okay, this is where we push through the pain that we've been going through. Okay, we did have another card just fly off because of my fan. I don't know if you guys can hear my fan. Again, if the fan is not cool, let me know, because I can rearrange things and try to, work that out. But so we did have this Three of Wands. Okay, so this is where it's asking us to prepare. Okay, it's asking us to have the foresight. Oh, and it's reverse. My fault. So this is where we're not seeing things and we're not prepared. Okay. This is where those things need to be. We need to make sure that we're focused. We're looking and planning for the future, and kind of expecting the unexpected, because we're not necessarily seeing everything because we're too focused on one thing, possibly, right? Or on a certain thing or a certain outcome. So I think that what can happen here in sequences, we need to push through. We need to have foresight on how we're going to be able to heal and push through this painful place that we've been for a good long time here. So I hope that helps. And until next time, one love.
Cause your vibe may be different, can shine in your eyes when I'm missing. Your body Ferrari, but your mind is my interest. You find in the sky, we gon' ride the eclipse like a Mercury transit.